United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Madam Clerk, may I have roll call, please?
David Walker.
Here.
Soren Peterson.
Here.
Chuck Schultz.
Here.
Mike Cunningham.
I am here.
Jennifer Eden.
Here.
And Al Poole is absent.
We're going to add the Macklin quote under miscellaneous business.
Okay.
So it'll be the Macklin HVAC quote.
Okay.
So any other changes? I'll entertain that motion.
So moved. Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The agenda is approved. Next is the approval of the consent agenda, the regular board meeting minutes from June 4th, 2019, the treasurer's report, and the clerk's warrants and bills.
So moved. Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That. Next is communications. We have 3 items on. Planning Commission meeting synopsis from June 11th, 2019. The Planning Commission approved meeting minutes from April 17, 2019. And the Planning Commission approved meeting minutes from May 14th, 2019.
So moved. Support.
Motion and supported to receive and place communications 1 and 3 on file. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Public remarks. We have none. We have no unfinished business, so we're gonna start with new business. Item number 1, ZBA appointment. Daniel Stickle, he's done a lot of zoning work up in the city of Fenton. He's lived in the township now for almost a year, and he contacted me with an interest to get involved, so we talked a couple of times, and came down and talked with me, and went well. I think he'll do well for us, so he would be an alternate, second alternate to the ZBA, so if anybody has any questions, I'll answer them. If anybody has a concern, we'll take a
Is
motion.
he still on the board in Fenton?
No, he's, because he moved.
Alright.
So moved. Support.
Been motioned and supported to appoint Daniel Stickle as ZBA alternate. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The motion
Aside
carries.
from the fact that I'm very uncomfortable appointing kids that graduated with my daughter, but go ahead. I've reached the age. Daniel Gordon Stickle graduated from high school at Fenton with my daughter, so. Go ahead.
Feeling a little sensitive about your age, aren't you?
Yeah, very much so. I just,
That's about the only thing I could gather out of that.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like when you called, and I saw this, and it was Dan Stickle, it's like, Daniel Gordon Stickle? Yeah, it's like, graduated with Melissa, so, okay, go ahead.
Next is the resolution to proceed with the Laurel Springs Waste Removal Project. As you know, we're gonna do a road improvement project out there, and it only makes sense to do something like this, so.
You're gonna have to look at your packet, because
Okay.
The link isn't working.
This is special
This is a
assessment, right?
resolution, this is SAD, right?
Yes.
Okay, so resolved. Support.
It's been resolved and supported to proceed with the Laurel Springs Waste Removal Project. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Chuck Schultz.
Yes.
David Walker.
Yes.
Mike Cunningham.
Yes.
Jennifer Eden.
Yes.
Soren Peterson.
Yes.
I say yes, and Al Poole's absent.
And as with all public hearings, we have to schedule a first public, or as with a resolution, we have to schedule a public hearing for the issue of the notice for Laurel Springs. So this will be the item number 3.
So resolved.
Support.
It's been resolved and supported to schedule the first public hearing and issue notice for the Laurel Springs Waste Removal Project. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Jennifer Eden.
Yes.
Soren Peterson.
Yes.
Is that our meeting day?
Chuck Schultz.
Yes.
David Walker.
Yes.
Mike Cunningham.
Yes.
And I say yes.
Is that our meeting day? It just doesn't look right for some reason, it seems.
What?
Oh, yeah, it is, okay. Yeah, no, it's the first meeting comes early, that's right. It just, nothing, I'm fine. The first meeting in the month of July comes very early, so that just looked early for the second meeting, so that's fine.
What's happening here?
Next item on the agenda is a resolution to adopt a proposed private infrastructure special assessment policy. We haven't had one in place. We've talked about this with our attorney, when he was here last, and it's something that some of the other townships do, and it kind of lets the residents know, hey, if you're gonna do a special assessment on a private road, this is what you can expect. It caused a little bit of a tiff with Irish Hills, but it got worked out. It's simply because we didn't have something written, clear cut. So we looked at Heartland's policy, and we kind of tailored it to work for us. And Marcy and I worked on it, and John kind of made some changes to it, and I think we have a working document. The nice thing about a policy is that we can, rather than having an ordinance, is that we can adjust it as needed.
One thing I wanted to point out is in paragraph B, we did change the number of signatures to be more than 60% of total frontage. We only have to, by statute, we only have to have over 50%. But we thought with something this big that maybe we should increase the number of signatures required.
And I know it makes, I'm sorry, yeah, that's fine. I know it makes reference to infrastructure paving, but it would be any other form of infrastructure that they chose to.
Well, the only,
I mean, because the language moves around a little bit in the.
I think the only other applicable thing would probably be a private road waste SAD.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So it's, there's a
This-
couple
it's-
times that it refers specifically to paving, whoops, and other times that it just says infrastructure. So,
Yeah, because.
do you see what my concern is?
Well, other infrastructure, well, if you did any of the infrastructure, gas infrastructure, any of that would all be done by the
Right, that's not us.
commodities. A drain, a private drain, that would be done by the drain commissioner's office.
Okay.
So I don't think there's any,
A sidewalk.
maybe a sidewalk.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
about it.
I get the intent. I guess I want to be overly clear that, because sometimes in it, as I read it, it said infrastructure, and then other times it says infrastructure paving. If you want to limit it to paving, that's fine, or if you want it to broaden it to sidewalks, to drainage, to whatever, I'm fine with that either way. I don't want somebody to say,
Our attorney basically said this is for paving. He didn't really think there was anything else that would fall into this category.
okay,
Now, is this to eliminate the,
20-year.
we trumped what they were going to do with the paving? And our engineer said, no, we want it this way because it's on the tax roll and on
Right.
the citizens' back. So,
Kind of a roadmap. If you want to do this, this is what you can expect to have happen. This is how it's going to be handled.
it may be upgraded from what,
Right. It also gives us the ability to set the limit of the SAD. So, say we have a habitually bad road, is 20 years a wise SAD? It would be if their homeowners association had a road improvement fund where they would come out and chip seal it, after 10 years and fill cracks every 5 years or whatever, then we'd see longevity. If they had none of that in place, then we might say, you know what, 20 years doesn't sound so good.
this covers the discretionary of the board to invest the money without blowback,
Right.
per se.
Well, we
Or
don't, we
you let
can't
this
invest,
person
Like
do it,
guidelines.
but
they actually, it also includes that they're gonna have to put money, in an escrow account to cover our costs, because by law, on a private road, we cannot, use township funds on that. That's statute. So, I mean, we can advance it, but we can't ultimately spend it. So,
help me out, our intent is to limit this to paving, right?
correct.
So would there be any problem, and I don't have a problem, moving it to the next meeting if you want to, but would there be any problem with?
Changing infrastructure to paving.
Well, no, just just, if you would, after every notation of private infrastructure, in parentheses, adding the word paving. So that you're clear then, that the objective behind this is to limit this to paving.
That wouldn't be that wouldn't be
Okay. So I'll resolve that we approve this with the revision that after private infrastructure, in the entire resolution, we put in parentheses the term paving.
Could we just add the definition of infrastructure as paving?
Well, but that's my point. Infrastructure isn't necessarily just paving.
Okay.
And the objective of this is to
Gotcha.
really specifically address a paving issue, not necessarily if they want a specific drain or if they want a
Valid point.
sidewalk or, okay. Yep.
I second it.
Okay, it's been resolved and supported to approve the private infrastructure special assessment policy with the word paving in parentheses after infrastructure.
I just don't ask me to repeat it.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
and I say yes.
Next is resolution to adopt the proposed purchasing of goods and services policy. We actually had nothing, so Marcy actually drafted this up. I don't know, did you help her with that?
No, actually,
Yeah.
Casey did.
Casey.
Oh, Casey. Yeah, so our accountant got this, and it's a good idea. It's good for, everybody knows a roadmap that if they need to buy something, what the limits are and what approvals they need to do it, so they're just not frivolously ordering desks and things like that.
Are we currently
It ha-
acquiring things at the worst possible quality and price?
Yeah, we have been.
Okay.
Well, prior, 10 years ago they did. No,
Just
but,
the language in it was kind of funny to me. It's
Well,
like, yes, we're buying the worst price we could get, so.
it also helps with audit when they see these
Yeah,
things.
no, I understand the purpose. I just was,
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
So
Funny, odd, not funny.
now we have a roadmap for it.
So resolved.
Support.
It's been resolved and supported to adopt the to adopt the purchasing of goods services policy. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call vote again.
David Walker,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz.
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
and I say yes.
I think we're on a record for resolutions
Well,
this
I
year.
just-
Oh, you-
How could you possibly vote no for that resolution?
Unless you were robbing
Yes,
from the
I-
till.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't need that. Item number 6 is the 2019-20 budget amendment. Did you want to take that, Marcy?
Yeah, it's just related to the acquisition of the new building. We didn't have anything budgeted, so we're just amending our budget for the capital outlay and for the renovations to it.
Right.
Just take from, or we're adding money to the site, the building and site fund for repairs. Should it take that money as well on top of, from the?
We
the
just needed to
revolving?
separate it as a separate line item, so that way if we spend any money for that building, it'll go on that line item, and we might have to adjust at the end of the year, depending on what it is that we spend money on and how much we spend.
I'm just trying to remember, because it doesn't seem like it was as high as that, so I'm assuming that the 250 was kind of an amount not to exceed, or the upper engine, this is probably a better question for you, right? At the high end of that renovation?
Yeah, it was 250.
Yeah, that's kind of the budget we're working with.
Okay.
So we'll have to see where bids come in, obviously, but.
Yeah, right, okay.
I think in the end, most of the preliminary design stuff that we assumed to get to that budget, we kind of kept it within that route.
Okay, that's fine. So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported for the 2019-20 budget amendment to include the new township hall. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Next is a request to amend the Cider Mill Crossing consent adjustment. We just did this, but hear me out.
Okay. Oh, we just did this.
So they are a mobile home community. They have to be approved by the state. The state looked at their second entrance plan and they said, nope, you're gonna have to put in a left turn lane and a right turn lane and do more of a boulevard entrance with the center island being a little bit bigger.
Not at ours.
So the state mandated the Cider Mill Crossings do those improvements. So what we approved for them is not consistent with the state requirements. So we've updated the site plan, we've updated the consent to judgment to include the requirements of the state. So this is nothing more than house cleaning, which actually is putting a larger financial burden and improving it, making it a better access point for the residents and for our residents as well. Residents of Cider Mill.
They have state-specific rules regarding manufactured homes.
They
entrances and
regulate
exits, so-
them more than
No, no,
any,
I believe you, I'm just,
they're the
Okay.
controlling authority,
okay.
so.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to amend the consent adjustment for Cider Mill Crossings. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. We are done with new business. We're gonna move on to miscellaneous business. It's the Macklin quote for HVAC. As you know, we have a building that, still has the original HVAC system in it. There was some inspection report, but the AC units have not been fired up due to the temperatures of when we purchased it. So what we would like to do is have Macklin Mechanical, who's our contracted HVAC company, go take a look, label each one of those, inspect them, fire them up, test them, and give us a schedule as to how long he thinks that they're gonna last, so we can start planning for the budget for the future to determine when these things are gonna go, and we'll have money for them, so we're not broadsided, so we can budget accordingly. So,
Will they also give us some, I wouldn't, certainly, obviously, the price of these things changes, but will they be able to give us some idea as to what projected costs would be in a 1 to 2 year window?
yeah, that's what he's gonna
Okay.
look at. He's
Okay.
gonna, I think Bryant had 3 price increases in the last 6 months.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I don't know that we can,
There's so much with tariffs and raw materials.
but
and-
at least, it's about this amount,
Well,
right?
yeah, he'll tell us how much to safely budget.
Yeah,
And-
okay.
And you've been around our budgeting process
Yeah,
long enough that if we think something's gonna be $100, we budget $200
right,
for it,
no, I
just
get
to
that,
make sure.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Is anybody in opposition to the $880 for the,
No, do you need a motion, or,
yes, please?
do you need a resolution because we're spending money?
No.
No.
Okay, so moved. Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the quote for the HVAC inspection of the new building. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Public remarks, last chance. All right, we have none, then I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been motioned and supported to adjourn. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, meeting's adjourned.
I do have a question, but it's a tangential question on the Cider Mill Crossing things, only because I watched somebody almost have an accident there the other day on Sunday when we